What happened with me with this film? So I accepted the film and I was really excited to take this, and I loved the idea, and I was reading it, and I gotten probably 2 weeks into my preparation for the film, and my father was diagnosed with cancer. And I was like, first it stunned me, and then it was the magical work of the universe. I could not believe that this was the film I was working on, and I was, forced to face, my father's mortality. So it was rough for about a week, and I got it together, and I decided that we would use the process of the character who was suffering a loss, and I would share my preparation with my father. And so we just started talking about love, time, and death. And it was some of the most open and powerful conversations that we'd ever had. And they gave him 6 weeks, and he lived for 4 months. So about 3 months into the 6 weeks, I go to see him one day, and he said, "Man, this shit is embarrassing." And I said, "What, Dad?" He said, "Man, you tell everybody you're gonna be dead in 6 weeks. 3 months later, you still hanging around."
Miss that, Dad.
Yeah, I know, right? But it was so beautiful, and we got to a place that we were talking open and comedically, and really, I think I was able to embody the ideas of the loss and also the redemptive quality of the pain. The loss is bound to joy. Like pain and suffering are bound to joy. The being able to survive something is actually a big part of being able to find that next wave of joy. You appreciate smaller things, right? Like, it was so magnificent for me. My father died on November 7th. But it was so powerful for me to be cleansed of box office. Like, I don't need the box office to be huge on this film. I don't need to win any awards. I don't care. It was the film that I worked on that I was actually able to comfortably and beautifully say goodbye to my father. And I hope that this film embodies a bit of that, so other people who are experiencing things like that will be able to use it in that way, and it can potentially be helpful and help someone else. So it was powerful to be cleansed of the foolishness of the game of numbers and awards and all of that type of stuff, to actually be able to create a piece of art that legitimately I just want people to see and hope it can be helpful and transformative in their lives.
You're talking about perspective.
Perspective, absolutely, yes. Yes.
How much does fear play into preventing us from grasping perspective, though?
Oh no, fear is everything. Yeah, like if there was one concept that I would suggest to people to take a daily confrontation with, is fear. The problem with fear is that it lies, right? So fear tells you, hey, if you say that to that girl, she's gonna know she has you, and she'll never really be attracted to you if she knows how much you attracted to her. Don't say that. No, how we get her is when she walks by, ignore her.
Right, it's
it's like
pop it on your shoulder.
Fear tells you dumb shit like that, right? So for me, the daily confrontation with fear has become a real practice for me since about three years ago. I went skydiving in Dubai, right? And skydiving is a really interesting confront with fear, right? So I gotta stand up. I'm sorry, I gotta stand up. All right. So all your friends, what happens, you go out, I dropped my thing. Yeah. So what happens is you go out the night before and you take a drink with your friends and somebody says, yeah, we should go skydiving tomorrow. And you go, yeah, we'll go skydiving tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. And you go, yeah. And everybody goes, yeah. Right? And you go home you by yourself, you're like, Right? And you're like, well, I mean, they was drunk too. Right? So maybe they not, maybe, I mean, we don't have to go. We don't have to do it. So then that night you're laying in your bed and you just keep, and you're terrified. You keep imagining over and over again jumping out of an airplane and you can't figure out why you would do that, right? And you're laying there and you have the worst night's sleep of your life, but you still have the hope that your friends were drunk, right? So you wake up the next day and you go, down and you say where you were going to meet and everybody's there. You're like, oh, shit. All right, cool, right? So you get in the van and you don't know that your friends had the same night that you had because they're pretending like they didn't. They're like, yeah, man, my uncle's a Navy SEAL and, this is going to be great. I've been looking forward to this. And you're like, oh, my God. And your stomach is terrible. You can't eat and everything, but you don't want to be the only punk who doesn't jump out of this airplane. So you get there and then you have this safety brief. And you're standing there, and the guys will tell you, well, if the chute doesn't open, what's going to happen is why the hell, what could happen? That the chute wouldn't open, right? So you do a thing, and what you do is your first jump, you're attached to a guy who is going, he's going to walk you out. So you go, and you get there, and there's an airplane, and nobody's stopping. Everybody's still going. So you get onto the airplane, and you're sitting there, and it's extra because you're sitting on some dude's lap, some stranger. You sitting on his lap, and it's like, trying to make small talk. Yeah, man. So you be jumping with people all the time, huh? Right? So, and then you just want to make sure, you got kids, right? You got people you need to see, right? You just want to make sure he's serious, right? So you get in there, so everything's normal. So you fly and you go up to 14,000 feet, and you notice there's a light. It's red, and it's yellow and green, right? So right now the light's red. So then you start thinking at some point the light's going to go green, but you don't know what's going to happen, right? And you wait and it goes yellow and the light goes green and somebody opens the door, and in that moment you realize you've never been in a freaking airplane with the door open. Right? Terror. Oh, sorry, I'm spitting. Oh, sorry. No, terror. Right? So you go, and then, if you were smart, you sat in the back so you don't go first, right? And then people start going out of the airplane. And you go, and the guy walks you up to the end of the thing, and you're standing, and your toes are on the edge, and you're looking out down to death. And they say, on 3. And they say, 1, 2, and he pushes you on 2 because people grab on 3, right? Right? And you go, and you fall out of the airplane, and in 1 second, you realize that it's the most blissful experience of your life. You're flying, right? It doesn't feel like falling, right? It's like you actually are kind of held a little bit by the wind, and then you start falling, and there's zero fear. You realize that the point of maximum danger is the point of minimum fear. It's bliss. It's bliss, and you're flying, right? And you're doing that, and then 20 seconds, 25 seconds, 40 seconds, and you have enough time to just kind of be like, oh, shit, that's that building. That's not like that one. Oh, you can see the ocean. Right? You start doing all of that, and the lesson for me was, why were you scared in your bed the night before? What do you need that fear for? Just don't go. Why are you scared in your bed 16 hours before you jump? Why are you scared in the car? Why could you not enjoy breakfast? What did you need that? The fear is fear of what? you're nowhere even near the airplane. Everything up to the stepping out, there's actually no reason to be scared. It only just ruins your day. You don't have to jump. And then in that moment, all of a sudden, where you should be terrified is the most blissful experience of your life. And God placed the best things in life on the other side of terror. On the other side of your maximum fear are all of the best things in life, you know.